Hi, this is Carl with newseptic.net. I'm going to show you today how you can enter in a parcel and get a new septic system project started with newseptic.net. So I had received an email from a client who wants a septic system designed for a property, and he sent me a soil report which contained a map and two soil documents and a cover page. So here I downloaded those documents into a new folder is what I would do to get this project started. And I'm going to open up the map so you can see this. So basically this little tilde here, and the contractor noted it's about approximately 7680 Spencer Lake Road, and there's a parcel number. So here it looks like they have highlighted the actual parcel. And oftentimes what happens is contractors will not have a defined parcel yet. So what you can see here is like they had done an assessment, that prior to this property getting formed. So what I'm going to do here is I can pull up newseptic.net. So I'm going to type newseptic.net and go ahead and log in. So I'm logged in now, and here I can see my projects, and there's this little link up here and it says view local GIS. I'm going to click that. It has a little bit about creating a map, but here we have in Ohio listed all the local county GIS websites. So if I know that that was in Medina County, so I'm going to go to Medina and click on the local GIS site. So this takes me actually to the local GIS website. And I'm just going to do a address search, 7680, and they have this little road search. So most counties have their own GIS website, and you can go and look up the most current information. New Septic also has the capabilities to look up information. But I was just going to show you a way that you can utilize a local county GIS. So here it looks like 7680. I'm going to pull this up here. Okay, so this looks like to be the original parcel, and what has happened now is they have split this entire piece off to this little section here. So what the actual address is this here. Is 7714 Spencer Lake Road. So here is the parcel number. I'm going to go ahead and copy that and come back to new septic. So I just hit Control C and I copied that, and now I'm going to hit Control V and paste it. So once again, I highlighted this whole parcel, hit Control C, and then came over to new septic, and in the quick start form I pasted it into this box here, and I'm going to go ahead and hit search. So now we're searching for that property in New Septic's database. We have about 60% of all Ohio parcel data. So it did find that parcel, and I'm going to go ahead and click yes on that. And it brought up all the information. We do a query for the exact township location. That's a GIS query. That is 100% the property that we're looking for. So I'm going to go ahead and click into the street address and type in 7714 Spencer Lake Road, because the address that was in there was not like formally the right address. So, okay, so I clicked on to get soil conditions. So the builder had indicated that this was going to be a 3-bedroom home. And since I do have the soil report and I want to get the most up-to-date information, I'm going to go ahead and enter full soil information. And that's going to take me to the actual soil form. So I'm going to bring up that soil form here, and we'll do test hole 1. And And at this point, if you haven't, we've made videos already on this, so I'm going to go ahead and skip this step. You can watch a video linked below and go ahead and check out those videos on how to enter soil data. It's pretty simple, just takes a little bit of time, so check that out. Okay, so I'm back here and I just entered the soil data into the soil forms here, and it looks like the GPS data that the soil evaluator entered was not accurate because it looks like it's popping one here and then one across the street. So I'm going to go ahead and click Septic Design here, and that's going to take us to the analysis page. So checking this out, it looks like one of the test holes, soil location 1, it is suitable, it meets the county requirements for suitable soil, but the third one does not. We found a limiting condition at 4 inches, so this one actually needs to be verified with the county if you can install there. So that's one thing that New Septic is good at checking out for you is checking the local county regs and making sure that this is a buildable site. So now we have to pull up the map now. Because those GPS points were inaccurate, I'm going to go ahead and click on the New Septic mapping application here, and this is going to bring up the property. So New Septic right now, it has found this property. What it's doing is it's showing you that parcel in red. The surrounding parcels are visible, and what New Septic also does is create a 10-foot buffer and a 50-foot buffer. Now, if you work in the septic industry, you know those buffers are very important because, if you're going to do a spray system or any sewage component has to be 10 foot from the property lines. So that's a very important little thing, nifty trick that New Septic is going to provide for you. So what I usually do is I'll throw on the aerial photo, that'll pop up. So this is a pretty good aerial photo right here. It's a 1 foot photo, aerial photography. So this is provided by OGRIP. And so what we're seeing here too is the contour lines as well. So New Septic cuts all this data up for you, and it's really nice that you can get a visual of the property. So what we're looking at here is this is going to be a long driveway here, so it's probably going to be a little setback there. So, and what I'm seeing here is some contours that kind of go maybe a little bit along the length of the property. So potentially we could do a mound there. So New Septic has a complete set of tools geared towards the septic system industry, the on-site wastewater treatment industry. And what you'll find here is all this tool set, these drawing tools, all of these data management tools up here, they're all customized to the on-site wastewater industry. So if I clicked on this view guide here, and we've provided a nice guide for you to go through and check out what each of these little tools does, but they are all have the ability to draw components of a sewage system. So if I wanted to say, let's draw a house here, what I'm going to do is click on the drawing, the tool here, draw house tool. So I'm going to just go ahead and draw right over top the neighbor's house. Since I wasn't provided a plan for this house, I'm just going to go ahead and draw a polygon. And once you double click, it's going to ask you to label it. I'm going to go ahead and label it 3-bedroom dwelling and save that off. And so this is, we can actually drag this now to the parcel. So it looks like it's pretty big on this parcel here. I'm not sure how they're going to fit this. One thing I can do here is I can edit any of these vertices. So what I can do is add another vertex in here and kind of make it like a little angle there. Okay, so I have this little shape here, and I'm actually just going to tweak it a little bit. I'm going to draw it this way. So maybe this is a ranch home, and it's sitting like right in the middle of the property, maybe a little bit kilted to the east side of the property to fit a driveway in here. So next what we can do is use the hardscape tool and go ahead and click on that and come over here, and we can start drawing a driveway. I could actually draw the neighbor's driveway as well and draw on top of that, but I'm just going to eyeball it here. And this gives, this is a requirement actually from local health departments when they review this, to, because what they're looking for is like, hey, where are the hardscapes on this property, because that is a requirement. So I'm just going to add a driveway label to that, and I can come down here. I'm using the control and the mouse wheel button. So I have a mouse. Having a mouse is pretty important for using New Septic's mapping application, because it's a little difficult without it. But you can also use these navigation bars to zoom in and out here. But for now, I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna edit this a little bit. You go ahead and put that right there. Just kind of. And this is right now just a preliminary drawing, so I'm not worried about it. So I can use this navigation bar right here also. So I'm going to do that. And sometimes the aerial photo is not so great at keeping up with us, so I'm just going to turn that off for now. And on our base map here is a road map, so an open street layer map. So what I'm going to do now is just draw a tank. So we need a tank. I'm just presuming it's going to come in here somewhere. So for tank options, we have the add a pretreatment system tool or the septic tank tool. You know, depending on whether you want to use a pretreatment system or a septic tank. So what I'm going to do is use a septic tank. I'm going to go ahead and click this button, and it's going to come up with all the tank options in the area. So all the tank manufacturers are in our database. Pretty helpful tool, because we have actually all the lengths and widths of the tanks, you know, that you might need to choose for this operation. So I just want to show you something too, though, before I add a tank. This little button here, enter field measurements. So this is where we have our little basic core properties of this system here. And what that's based off of is the selected test hole. So see how this test hole number 1 was up here, and remember we had that test hole that was way off the range there. What I'm going to do is go ahead and pull up the soil evaluators map and check it out, and it looks like the test hole was supposed to be over here, and the test hole 3 was way down there. So I'm going to go ahead and actually fix that now with New Septic, which is pretty cool. Pretty good feature of New Septic. So I'm going to turn on the aerial photo, and here I'm going to see, okay, here's that lake there. Let's gauge here off of this drawing. Here's that lake, and it's a little bit above that lake, and then it's on the side there as well. So I'm going to go ahead and click on test hole 3. I'm just going to drag it all the way down here. And what this is doing is saying, do you want to update the latitude longitude to the new one? Because here's the old one, it was way off, it was across the street, and here's our new GPS, and it's actually very, very accurate. So we'll update that. And then I'll zoom in, test hole 1, you can see that that was off as well. So I'll click on test hole 1 if I can get down to it. It's a little weird there. All right, I got it. So I'll pull this over here, and that's going to be more in line with what, you know, where that was. Okay. I'll turn off the aerial photo, because we don't need it. All right, so now we have test hole 3 was not buildable, but test hole 1 was buildable. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to draw out what they could do for a mound system. So I'm going to move the house back a little bit, and I'm going to tell this builder, like, hey, you might have to have a different house location. So I'm having a problem selecting that, so I'm just going to hold all the way back and edit it that way. So okay, and I got this point here. Okay, so that was a little weird. I couldn't select that for some reason, but definitely work on that in the future. But making these easier to select is definitely something we're going to get better at here. So what I'll do now is I think a tank can go in the front yard. It looks like this is relatively flat here because we have 1138 on this contour and 1138 here. So it all looks pretty flat in here. And what I'm going to do is go ahead and click on the septic tank icon there. And I'm going to go ahead and because this is so close to Mac Industries, that popped up really first. So I'm going to click on Mac. You can start typing any tank manufacturer in here. Like Uniontown is also another popular one. Norwalk Concrete. So Mac. And I know because it's a 3-bedroom, it's going to be a 150 gallon or 1,500 gallon tank. Sorry. So here I have the tank. It's drawn in there proportionally on the map, and we can now begin to move that down to wherever we see fit. Okay, so now because this is also this is a I don't really need this 50-foot buffer because it so I'll turn that feature off. So now that line's not in the way there. It doesn't look so weird and nasty. But so okay, so that tank is on there. It looks about. I usually try and put the tanks like 30 to 50 foot away. So I'll put that there. And now I'm going to click on the sewer main tool. All these piping tools here, like I said, they are explained in the guide, and the guide's always available right there. So with the sewer main, what you're going to want to do is click on the house location where it's going to start. So I just click there, and then I'm going to terminate at the tank inlet, double click on that. So there's the sewer main. All the components that we're drawing, you can click on this little notepad there, and you can see we actually drew out a 47.6 foot mapping measure. And you can actually, if you go out on the property and say you actually measure it out to 50 foot, you can put 50 foot in the field measure, and the field measure is always one that is taken for the final design. So I'm going to click save here. Okay, so now we have to draw a pump tank because we're going to design a mound system. We're just going to lay out a mound system kind of by this, curvature here, and we're going to try and stick to that contour line a little bit. So what I'm going to do is go ahead, and you can put a distribution main too. So a distribution pipe would be something that's gravity, but it's also maybe after the sewer main. So say you were discharging to like a leaching trench by gravity, you would put this distribution pipe in there. That's what that tool is for. I should note another thing about new septic is the elevation. So this when you're drawing components on the map, new septic is actually passing that latitude and longitude of that point that you drew it to Google's elevation service, that they will return an elevation from that point that we sent. And you can read all about that here. I won't go into too much detail, but we have a specific way where we have a hierarchy of accuracy. So first go, we're going to pass the latitude and longitude to Google. So at the sewer start, we found from Google that from that latitude and longitude, we got a 1138.34 foot elevation. Now at the end of at the end of that, it looked like it dropped by basically 0.2 some feet, so 0.28 or something feet. So, and that is what we return from Google. Now, say you're out at the property and you want to measure with whatever accurate tool you have, to measure, say you're doing differential leveling with a laser level, you can enter that here. So that's how we handle elevation. As we draw components on the map, we are tracking that for later use. So I'm going to go ahead and just draw a distribution main pipe and go ahead and draw this out here and say, we want to have the tanks very close together. So we're just going to be like roughly 2.5 feet. So, and next we're going to want to put a dose tank on there. So we used MAC tanks to begin with. We're going to use MAC tanks again. So here we have a 1,000-gallon dose tank. I'm going to go ahead and click that. And you can see it's smaller, so we're actually using the proper tank dimensions here. And some of these tools are a little laggy. We're going to get faster here as we add members to the site. We can start adding servers and, boost up our power here on this application. So next, since we're drawing a mound system, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to try and put it right on that, right on this test hole here. We're just going to try and do something like this, and hoping that when we go out to actually measure on the site that it's kind of accurate. But this is just our first guess, because see this parcel line here, and then we have a 10-foot buffer. So from that, we're going to want to come out a little bit of ways here, and I'm just drawing this with the trench tool. So the trench tool is a very versatile tool that we can explain later, but because I know that the estimate said 150-foot long trench, I'm going to draw a 150-foot trench here. And it wasn't exactly right, but I drew out a trench, and I'm going to put 150 here because that's actually what I want it to be. So click save, and the way that the trench tool is very unique is, see up here we're cataloging all the lengths of the measured lines that we have drawn. So here we're seeing that the trench tool is pretty unique, where it has this M here, an LTF, and an RE here. So this M stands for mound, this LTF stands for leaching trench field, and this RE stands for replacement. So what I can do to draw this mound is I'm going to go ahead and click the mound icon. And since I know that that was 6 inches to the limiting condition, I'm going to go ahead and make up the 18 inches vertical separation distance and put 12 here. So I'm going to click generate mound, and here I can see that we've now generated a mound system, and that is going fairly parallel to the contour there, and it's on the parcel line. And what I'm going to do now, it looks good to me, I'm going to click the replacement icon. So there we have the replacement mound, and I'm just going to tuck it right in there. So here we have a completed mound system, and it's accurate to the dimensions based on some manuals that we use to calculate that from OSU. So the only thing left we have to do is to draw our force main. So here I'm going to click on the force main tool, and I'm going to click here on the tank, and I'm just going to connect it right in the middle there. Double click. Okay, so let's check out what we got here. So we have 130.7 foot that it measured out. I'm just going to go ahead, and because there's little things like the force main length inside of the dose tank, basically equates like 5 feet or so to make an upturn at the top and to keep that force main within like 12 inches of the tank lid for maintenance and such. I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit to the force main. So I'm just going to make it like 138 just to be safe. So that is basically our sewage system in a nutshell. We just really just demoed this. Within 20 minutes. We've made a design plan for a sewage system. So what I can do now is add like a city water or a water well line, and these are two features that would be necessary for that. So I actually had that page up still from the county engineer's office, and this one's actually pretty good because they actually show the water lines. So here I can see that there is water access at the house there. So what I can do is come back to my map, and I'm going to draw a water line to parallel the driveway. So what I'll do is click on that CW, which is a city water, and I'm going to go ahead and just kind of click a line there. And it looks like I did pull this off here, so I'm going to move this out. Sometimes the snapping is a little bit tight, and we're going to work on that. But so I'm going to pull this sort of close to the driveway, and that would be a representation of our city water line access. So I'm going to hit save here. You can also do Control S, which I just did, and that will also save your data. I'm going to check out the elevation data. It looks like the dose tank invert elevations and the dose tank bottom didn't come through, and I'll check that out later. But let's just say we'll keep all this data here. Let's do the dose tank invert elevation. So let me go ahead and just say, like, okay, if this is coming in at grade elevation of 1138, and we'll just go ahead and say it's like 8 inches below that, or just 12. Let's just do 12, 11, 37.22. And let's see, okay, the septic inlet invert, let's just go a little below that. Let's go 36.8. Okay, so save that off and hit save again. And say we wanted to add some measurements to this, we can do that for just kind of the aid of the contractors. Maybe we can click the measuring tool, and I'm going to go ahead and click here, and let's say right here, let's click that, and let's add another one here. Let's add another one to the tank, okay? Okay. Sometimes it's handy to have on site some measurements to different components. That way contractors can check that out. So I saved it again. Every time you add something, you want it to persist, you have to save that. So I'm going to go ahead and click print view. Okay, and here I have some crazy labels actually looking like to me. So like I can't read some of these. So this is the print view of new septic. So it automatically scales to a 1 inch equals 50, 50 feet. And that's just kind of for ease of things here. And the ability to show the legend on the map is also. Okay, so here I have the layout view of the map, and as you can see, all the components are there, and this is where new septic will go in and label all the components that you had drawn on the map. So that's kind of a handy feature of New Septic. We draw or we label all of these components, and as you lay these out on site, it makes it simple for you to come in and just print this off. But here I can see some of the labels overlapping. One of the features of New Septic is it does not really catch them on the fly, so we're working on that. But basically what you have to do is come in and edit these labels. So you can click the Edit Labels button, and I can see the mound system label is kind of all messed up. So what I'm going to do is click, I'm going to put it at the end, and I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees, and I'm going to select some different criteria here. Let's do 10 pixels for the font size, and I'm going to do a blue color label with a white border. Save that. Okay, it does kind of run down here, so actually I'm probably going to put that at a 45-degree label angle. So select that one again, and I will put it at a 45-degree angle instead. So that's a little better. And now I'm going to check out the replacement area because it's overlapping that as well. So I'll select, I guess that's not on here. We'll have to add that on here. So the tanks as well, let's edit those, especially this one. It's looking like it's right over top of that measurement we provided. So let's do the septic tank label. Septic tank, okay. Let's do at the end, and once again, we'll put it at a 45-degree angle, and we'll go ahead and hit that. And boom. Okay, so that's looking good. It's down there, and we can still see this measurement label. The tank label's there as well. So now I'm going to go ahead and center this, and I'm going to add on the legend because I want that to pop on the map. The legend by default will show in the bottom right-hand corner, and it's just something that we're working on, so you can actually drag that around the map. But for now, you can just click Print PDF of Map, and here you can see the full map here. Oh, okay, so I did make a mistake. Okay. I did mess that up because actually the legend pops on the left. So we'll drag this over a little bit so you can see that legend. And I drag that over, and okay, so here you can see the 10-foot parcel dashed line. The red is the parcel lines, and the contour is labeled there on the legend. So this is at a scale of 1 inch equals 50 foot, and the north arrow is there. We have all the components that are labeled. This is actually meeting all the requirements for a septic design plan, so for Ohio. So what we can scroll down here and do, I can click on this measure tool, and let's just measure this out. You can click measure up top here, and I'm going to go ahead and do this little measurement here. So I got 0.2 inches, and if I take my trusty calculator and I do 50 times 0.2, I'm seeing 10 foot. So this is a scale drawing. It's a scaled map. It's 1 inch equals 50 foot. So you can rest assured that all your components here are drawn out to scale. And it's just a really easy way to demo it. Like this tool, these measuring tools, these are all free with Adobe, so Adobe Reader. So you can also add these additional measurements here too if you want to, which I do frequently if I'm out on a property. And I actually see that this label is kind of overlapping the street. So I would actually probably, come in, delete that, and then come in again and just move it down a little bit. That's what I would do. Just move it down to the right a little bit and go ahead and print another one. So see how that label came off. And I do notice that the parcel ID is a little off. So what I would do is I would just delete Medina County or maybe abbreviate township. So I'll do that now too. So you can print as many of these maps as you want. So I'm just going to abbreviate township and see how that affects it. So yeah, okay, the parcel is on the map now and everything's looking good. This is just a way you can rapidly generate a design plan for a sewage treatment system in Ohio with newseptic.net.